Okay guys, so we're going to go over solving inequalities with variables on both sides. Again, now remember, this is what you did your project on Tuesday. So that very first step is always going to be look for any distributing that could happen. Okay, be careful about your negatives. Once you have your distributing taken care of, you're going to combine like terms. Please remember that like terms have that special thing that they must be on the same side. Alright, must be on the same side. Always, always, always. Alright, once we got all that taken care of, then we're going to start moving our variables to one side. And then we're going to move our constants, so those are the numbers, to the other side. Okay, so our goal is variables on one side, numbers on the other. And that very, very, very last thing down there with the stars, be sure to watch for dividing by a negative. And when you divide by a negative, you have to flip your symbol. Alright, so let's take a look at what's going on here in number 6. So make sure you start off with drawing your line down your inequality symbol there. Okay, and then we notice that we have some distributing we need to take care of. So we have 3 times x gives us 3x. 3 times negative 4. So 3 times negative 4. That's going to give us negative 12. Bring down that plus 3, bring down your symbol, bring down that 3x. Okay, then if I take a look, I notice that I have some like terms. Okay, I have a negative 12 and a positive 3. So I do just what I see there. I see negative 12 plus 3, and that's going to give me negative 9. Bring down everything else around it. Okay, now I need to move my variables to one side. If you guys look in the left, over here on the left, we have a 3x and a negative 9, and then I have a 3x on the right. So what I'm going to do is to move my variables to one side. I need to move this 3x to the other side. So it's positive, so I'm going to subtract it. Subtract it over there. 3x minus 3x, that's 0. Bring down negative 9. Now, on the right here, 3x minus 3x, that is 0. Okay, there's not 0x, it's just 0. There's no x's left. We write down our symbol. Now, when I read that, that says negative 9 is greater than 0. And that's not true. Okay, that's a false statement. That is not true. False statement, that means there are no solutions. Okay, so just like before when we ended up with something like 7 equals 4, that's not true, that's no solution. Same idea here. When you read that inequality, negative 9 is greater than 0 is not true, so that's no solution. So therefore, we would not graph that one either. There's no answers. Alright, so if we come to number 7, I'm sorry. Look at number 7, there's no distributing that needs to happen. But if you notice, there is a 3x and there is a minus 5x. Those are like terms. They're on the same side. So if I take 3x minus 5x, that gives me negative 2x. Bring down my plus 9, bring down my inequality, bring down my x. Okay, so I've combined my like terms. Combined my like terms. Remember, they were on the same side there. So now I can start moving my variables. Now, just like the last one, I have negative 2x and 9 on the left and just an x on the right. So I need to move negative 2x. So I'm going to add that because that's the opposite. Bring down my 9 less than 1x plus 2x. That gives me 3x. Alright, now that I have my variables all to one side and my numbers are all on the other side, I can go ahead and divide by 3 to get x by itself. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay, now when I go to graph this one, Remember what we said is that we put our 0 here and then we put our 3 down. All you got to do is plug that 0 in and then read it. So we have our open circle at 3, but then you read 3 is less than 0. Okay, that's not true. So we want to shade away from 0 because it's not true. Right. You could have also flipped that around. Remember we said how to do that. You flip your X, you flip your symbol, you flip your 3. Want the open part to X, and there you can see the greater than that's happening, which is why we shade to the right there. Either way. Alright, we're going to go ahead and go on to the last 2 problems. So let me just scroll down here. Alright, there's a lot going on in number 8. Don't be too overwhelmed by it. Take it step by step. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw a line. Alright, right off the bat, we notice some distributing that needs to happen. So I take negative 2 times x. It's going to be negative 2x. Then I take negative 2 times negative 7. Now, we've been practicing this a lot, guys. So negative 2 times negative 7. It's going to be positive 14. And then bring down your negative 4 and bring down your minus x. Bring down your symbol, 8x plus 32. Okay, so once you have that all taken care of, you can start moving stuff now if you want. Or if you notice, right here in the middle, I have a set of like terms. I have 14 minus 4, exactly how I read it. So when I take 14 minus 4, it's going to give me a positive 10. I'm going to bring down my negative 2x. I'm going to bring down my minus x, my symbol, and then 8x plus 32. And if you want, you can go ahead and you can combine like terms again, because if you notice on that left-hand side, you have a negative 2x, and then you have a negative x. And that negative 2x and that minus 1x, that's going to give you negative 3x. And then just bring everything else down. Plus 10, less than 8x plus 32. And then you can just start moving stuff around. So the first thing I want to do is I want to move my letters to one side. So to do that, okay, so I'm going to start by moving my letters to one side. So I want all my variables on the left. So I'm going to move this 8x right here. And to move 8x, I'm going to do the opposite, which is minus it. Alright, so on the right-hand side, they're going to cancel. Now I have negative 3 minus 8. So it's going to be negative 11x. Bring down my plus 10. Bring down my symbol, bring down my 32. Alright, now I need to move my constants to the other side. So this is just 2-step problem. Just subtract that 10 over, just like you guys know how to do. Bring down negative 11x. Bring down your symbol, 32 minus 10. It's 22. Divide by that negative 11. And x is... Alright, now you gotta remember, you gotta flip your symbol here. This has to change. So it says less than, but I need to flip it to be greater than, because I divided by negative 11. And then 22 divided by negative 11, that's negative 2. Alright, I'm gonna put our 0 right there. I'm gonna put my negative 2 to the left. I'm gonna put a open circle, and it says x is greater than, so I'm gonna shade on to the right. Remember, you can always use that 0, so you could say that 0 is greater than negative 2, and that is true. Okay, that reads true, so we go ahead and shade on to where 0 is. Okay, so if you guys look at number 9, we're describing the steps. So the first thing they did here was they distributed. Alright, so on number 1, yep. Okay, so we're distributing, and then if you guys look over here on the left-hand side, okay, it changed. It's because they took negative 7 and plus 5 to get that negative 2. So for step 2, we combine like terms. Alright, now if we look at line number 3 there, On line number 3 now, if you look at the right, now the right has changed, and that's because they took 12 plus 8 to get 20, so we combine like terms again. I'm just going to do little quotes to show that it's the exact same word. Alright, line number 4. They started moving some stuff. Alright, so if you notice, they subtracted that 3 to leave only 20 over here. So you're going to say that. So you're going to say subtract 3x. Okay, from there it's just a 2-step. Notice they got rid of the 10. They did that by adding. So we're going to say add 10. Alright, that very last step there has 2 parts because they divided by -5. We're all comfortable with that. And then you notice what happens right here in the middle. You have to make sure you say and flip symbol. Okay, that's a step that they took, so you got to make sure you say that.